Hi, I'm John Dobson. This is my step-by-step bar chord tutorial. Hopefully pain-free, hopefully discomfort-free. So to make it easier on yourselves, if you're trying to do this on an acoustic, make sure you're using light gauge strings or extra light gauge strings, otherwise it's going to be a real problem. Preferably do it on electric or a classical. So you're going to see it done, all the phases one by one, then they will follow a tutorial about exactly what I was doing. Thank you. Okay, so phase one, I just play over two strings. Let me just show you the angle of my thumb. This is really important. Make sure your thumb's behind the neck and bent like this. When you're playing bar chords, it's virtually impossible to do them with a flat palm, a la Jimi Hendrix, Jeff Beck, Frusciante, whatever. Don't have your thumb over the neck, have it behind the neck. Don't bend your thumb like that either. Really bad for your joints, so try and keep your thumb bent like so. That's probably one of the most important things. Generally your index finger is straight at the first knuckle and bent at the second one. Okay, so anyway, getting back, let's change the angle a bit. So phase one, just on strings 1 and 2, 7th fret. That would be a B minor. I went down 2 to the A. Then I kept bowing across the 3 strings, but I played strings 2 and 3. So my second finger's 1 fret higher on the 8th fret, and I went down 1. So that's actually going from a partial G chord to a partial F sharp chord. So the chord sequence in this, if you haven't already noticed, was the same all the way through. Then I did it over 3 strings. So if I just bar across the 3 string on the 7th fret like that, it's B minor. If I put my second finger 1 fret higher on the 3rd string, it ends up being an A. Then I move up 2 frets again. Now I move my second finger onto the 2nd string and not the 3rd. So it's partial G again. And down 1 to partial F sharp. Okay, then the next phrase, so it's starting to get a bit tricky now. So make sure you can do that before you carry on with reasonable quality. Now from this stage on, what I'm going to say to you is this: don't worry too much about the quality. Just keep trying, keep trying. It's like weight training for your fingers. Don't give up. So a lot of you will find this really hard now, but you must keep trying. So now my 3rd finger is playing the 9th fret, the 4th string. It must be clear of the 3rd string, so you need to heighten your fingers, hence having the thumb behind the neck. It's kind of right behind my finger, my index finger. So now across 4 strings. Now here what we've got is we've got an F chord, if you like, an F-shaped chord, but on the 5th fret, which makes it the A. Move up 2 frets and shove your second finger from the 3rd string onto the 2nd string. Now that is actually partial C-shaped chord. I'll come to that later. That'll be a G chord, of course, and then down. When I say partial C-shape, it wasn't actually a C chord. So on the 7th fret, it's a G. And then down 1 to 6th fret, be an F sharp. Partial F sharp. Okay. Then what I did is I moved down to the inner 4 strings. At the moment, almost, if you like, giving yourself a rest from the bar. I'm just trying to explain now how the actual full B minor root 5 would be created. So take an A minor chord and play it without your 1st finger. Imagine somebody's chopped your 1st finger off for a minute. Horrible thought, I know. But just so you get to the concept of playing an A minor with different fingers, the 1st finger needs to be used for the bar. But I'm not going to bar it yet. It's going to get used to playing these fingers in the right place first of all. So I'm just playing strings 2, 3, 4 and 5. So that's a B minor. So move up the neck. So if you do the same thing with an E chord that you did earlier with the A minor chord, not using the 1st finger, shove it up the neck. So this is the 7th fret here, and my 1st finger will be on the 1st fret, the 5th fret of the 2nd string. So that is actually an A, down to a G, 3rd fret. And then down 1 to F sharp. So now you're used to being in the right position for barring all the way across the 5 strings now. So now we're almost home and dry. B minor on the 2nd fret. Okay, now I go up to the... So I'm not actually barring across all 6 yet. I'm doing what I did before, but I'm flattening that 1st finger across the top 2 strings. Go down to G. And I think I put an F sharp 7 in here. So again, E 7 shape, if you like, move up to the 2nd fret. And that makes it F sharp. So that's the first really hard one, if you like. Then finally we do a B minor root 5 or an A minor shape on the 2nd fret. All the way across with an A. So now you're barring across all 6 strings. Down 2 for the G. And if you put the 7th in here, it's really quite hard. So be very patient with this. And then I finished it on the B minor, but this time playing it as an E minor shaped chord. And that's how I did the actual bar chord tutorial. Now, what you're going to see next is a bit of a lecture on caged chords, movable chords, which was the final thing that you saw in the first part of the video. So, caged is a very useful concept for learning to play scales and chords in lots of different positions. A lot of jazz guitarists and more advanced rock guitarists absolutely swear by it. It's quite a controversial subject. Such great YouTubers such as Rick Beato aren't so keen on it, but I think it's great, so I'm going to stick with caged. I like it. So it's very useful for understanding how to play movable chords. So first of all, you need to play C, without your first finger. A, G, E and D. So do all those chords without using your first finger, so you could potentially move them up and down the neck. Now I'm sure you'll appreciate moving a G chord up and down the neck is not a very practical thing to do. It can be done, but it's just much easier to understand certain partial chords that are played as root 4 chords on the top strings. Very often there are some inversion of a G shape chord. So that's where the G comes in. But the other 4 are used much more often as movable chords. Now then what you've got to do next is you've got to take the E, D from the ends of caged and put it at the beginning. So you're left with Ed, Cag. So a position 1 chord, E, any movable chord that is an E shape. I'm not going to take you through learning the neck. I'm hoping you already have some idea of where the notes are. If you need to know, I'm on string 6 and string 5 to have any chance with movable chords. Okay, so, and then D is a position 2 type chord. So in the tutorial, I played a B minor chord, actually using a D minor shape on the 9th fret, because that's a B, root 4, B on the 9th fret, and I did a D minor chord, shape rather, on the 9th fret, which equals B minor. So if you've ever played, a lot of you may well have tried to play Hotel California, for example, a classic example of a song done with a capo. So all the chords are shapes, familiar shapes, but played at the neck, which makes them all different chords. Right, so, and then position 3 chords, C chords, I'm also doing when I do the last part in my tutorial. So I actually went down 2 frets and did a D shape chord. So that being major now, not minor, on the 7th fret makes it an A. Okay, so what I do now, just to demonstrate, is I actually use a C chord for the the G, which is on the 10th fret. So that's a C shape, but on the 10th fret. Quite hard at first. Then I went to something which is much more familiar to most of you, I'm sure. So if you take a C7 chord and shove it up the neck, so you're on the 9th fret of the 5th string, you will get an F sharp 7. But only those inner 4 strings, because the outer E's will not work with that. And then finally I just played a B minor as the position 1, Ed, Cag, E minor shape on the 7th fret equals B minor. So there's an introduction to caged. If you liked my video, please subscribe to my channel before I hiccup. Thank you.